So I'm 23, I'm from the UK, I run a faceless YouTube channel called Wi-Fi Uni, and it makes me around $2,000 a month. And today I want to walk through exactly how that $2,000 is made up, like the actual breakdown of every income stream, how each one arrived, in what order, and what I had to do to get there. Because I think the honest version of this story is a lot more useful than the version where someone just tells you YouTube makes them loads of money without explaining any of the detail. Please excuse this AI slop voice. I promise the value in this video is worth it. So the first thing that's worth saying is that when most people think about making money from YouTube, they think about AdSense, the automatic ad revenue that YouTube pays you based on how many views you get. And they assume that's the main thing, like that's the goal you're working towards. And I want to address that straight away, because for me, AdSense was not the first income stream, and it's still not the biggest one. And I think that surprises people. The first money I made from Wi-Fi Uni was a sponsorship. And what happened was a company making an AI tool emailed me, asking if I'd be interested in featuring their product in a video. And I was probably around 10,000 subscribers at the time, which I thought was too small for anyone to care about. But that's not how it works. And what I've learned since is that in a specific niche like AI and making money online, even a relatively small audience is genuinely valuable to the right advertiser because the match between my audience and their product is so clean. That first deal was somewhere around $100, and I remember thinking that was a decent return for something that just fit naturally into a video I was already making anyway. And what this led to was me realizing pretty quickly that sponsors were going to be the main income stream, not AdSense, and that shaped how I thought about everything after that. AdSense came second, and the reason it came after sponsors rather than before is just that you have to hit 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 watch hours before YouTube even lets you monetize. And by the time I crossed those thresholds, I'd already had a couple of sponsor deals. So the AdSense just switched on one day and started adding a small amount on top of what was already coming in. And I want to be honest about what AdSense actually amounts to at my size, because I think people have wildly unrealistic expectations of it. And basically what it comes down to is around $100 a month. Maybe a bit more if a video does particularly well, and that's it. And the reason is just that you need millions of views a month to make serious money from AdSense alone. And most channels, including mine, aren't there yet. So I treat it as a nice bonus rather than something to build a plan around. The thing AdSense does do is create a floor. Like there's a baseline amount coming in every month, regardless of whether I close any sponsor deals that month. And psychologically, that's actually quite useful. But as a primary income source at this stage, it's not the thing. So after the first sponsor deal, more kept coming. And what I noticed was that as the channel grew and the posting volume stayed high, the inbound emails from brands became more frequent. And basically what this means is that the channel itself was doing the selling for me. Like I wasn't going out and pitching anyone, companies were just finding the channel, seeing the audience was exactly who they wanted to reach, and getting in touch. And this is where the quantity over quality thing that I talk about a lot really showed up in the income, because posting every other day meant there was just a lot of surface area for brands to find, a lot of videos showing up in search, a lot of content getting pushed by the algorithm. And a channel that posts daily looks a lot more attractive to a sponsor than one that posts sporadically, because they can see you're consistent and the audience is engaged regularly. The rate per video stayed in that $100 to $200 range, and I was pretty comfortable accepting that, because the volume meant it added up. And by this point, sponsors were making up the majority of the $2,000 figure on their own. The affiliate income came next, and this one was more of a natural addition than a deliberate strategy. And what I mean by that is I was already mentioning tools in my videos that I genuinely found useful. And at some point, I realized that some of those tools had affiliate programs where I could earn a cut if people signed up through my link. So I just started putting those links in descriptions, and it started earning passively without me having to do anything differently. OpenArt is a good example. It's a tool for AI image and video generation that fits naturally with the kind of content I make. And I mention it when it's relevant. Link it in the description, and because my audience is genuinely interested in that kind of tool, some of them click through and sign up. And that adds up to around $200 a month, just sitting there. And the thing I like about affiliates compared to sponsors is that once they're set up, they're genuinely passive. The link is just there in every relevant video I've ever made, including ones from a year ago, and they just keep quietly earning without me having to do anything. And $200 a month for a link in a description is a pretty good return for not very much ongoing effort. The most recent addition is the school community, and this one is only a few weeks old, so the numbers are still small, around $135 a month right now. But the reason I'm excited about it compared to everything else is the recurring nature of it. There are 3 tiers. $10 a month for the standard plan, which includes daily niche drops, a short-form content course, and direct feedback from me. $15 a month for premium, which adds the full long-form YouTube course and more in-depth coaching. And $50 a month for VIP, which includes the full breakdown of exactly how I built Wi-Fi Uni, how to build a no-code SaaS, how to grow your own school, how to sell digital products, all of it. And what makes this different to every other income stream is that it compounds. Like AdSense resets every month. Sponsors reset every month. Affiliates are passive but variable. But the school MRR just sits there, and the floor gets higher every month, as long as people are finding value and sticking around. And so far, the churn has been really low, which tells me the content in there is landing. $135 doesn't sound like much, but in 3 months, if I've added even a handful of members a month and kept the churn low, that number could be 400 or 500. And in a year, it could be a meaningful chunk of the overall income. And unlike sponsors, I don't have to go out and earn it again every month. It's just there. So the full picture is sponsors making up the majority, probably around 1,500 of the $2,000. Affiliates at 200, AdSense at 100, and the school at 135 and growing. And what I find interesting about that breakdown is that each income stream arrived at a different stage of the channel's growth, and for a different reason. And none of them were really planned in advance. They just made sense at the time, and I added them when they did. I think the lesson in that is just that you don't need to have the whole monetization picture figured out before you start. You need to start, build the audience, and then the income streams reveal themselves as the channel grows. And the main thing is just to keep posting and keep the niche specific enough that the right people find you. If you want more direct help building something like this, I do have the school community linked in the description. There's one-to-one feedback available depending on which tier you're on. Completely up to you whether that's useful. Cheers for watching.